I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just saying that
What?
the dog is going to get up on the couch and he's going to knock the camera over.
He looks pretty calm and chill to me.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Dogs are chilling.
Hey
Welcome,
now.
welcome to this thing that we just decided to do.
Woo.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
thanks.
just decided we're gonna do it and set everything up, and here we are.
Yeah, man. It's No Simple Road, but like you can see us.
No
It's different
Simple
than the other
Road.
kind of No Simple Road. You didn't get like the intro music and like 8.5 minutes of commercials. You got just our mugs. Yeah,
Here it is.
this is what we look like, by the way. Hey,
Yay.
Hello.
this is Aaron.
everybody.
What's up, everybody?
And Mel.
And Apple.
We did it. And we got Bryce working the
Yeah.
comments and controls over there. So yeah, if you're watching the live stream, you can comment and all that stuff.
We also have a couple dogs in the room.
Yeah.
joining.
Oh,
you
shit.
may or may not hear them or get a chance to see them, but we've got Darwin, which our listeners know Darwin from
Darwin's part
being
of
with
the
the
show.
show. And then Leia is visiting today.
That's right.
I wish you guys could see Leia. She
Yeah,
is
maybe at some point we'll pick Leia up and show her.
Yeah, she's
beautiful
sitting
mug.
right by my feet, but she's short enough to be out of view of the camera.
So listen,
Well, first, thanks for being here on our first live stream, everybody. I mean, once you get there, I don't think anybody's here
nobody's
yet,
here
but-
yet. We're
But
just
that's fine. We're
gonna
just
hang out.
talking to nobody right now.
Yeah, we're
but-
gonna wait until there's somebody to talk.
Somebody to talk to.
Well, actually,
We are
during
good at
con-
talking
yeah,
to ourselves.
we can talk
to.
and
Talk
then
to ourselves.
Yeah,
Apple actually
Uh-oh.
talks to himself
I do talk to myself a
all
lot.
the time.
all the time.
So what we were thinking is, since this is our like first foray into the live stream world, that we would kind of reintroduce ourselves and tell you a little bit about No Simple Road and how it got started. And
Just
what
kinda-
was
we're-
your thing, Mel? Like,
Well, we were talking about like what would be a good idea for the live stream and what we, what kind of topics or whatever. And I was like, well, the people who have been listening to the show, they know our faces and they know our voices, but maybe people that haven't tuned in before, we're just random three people that are on the screen and they're like, what?
who gives a shit?
Who are these people? What the hell's No Simple Road? And so I was like, it'd just be a really good opportunity to kind of like talk about where the show has gone since its inception and talk about the inception of the show and who the heck we are, just so that everybody can kind of be on our same page and see what's up.
I like that word, inception.
Yeah.
It's like a dream within a dream.
Well,
Inception.
No, you know what? This No Simple Road started almost 5 years ago, like in
July
July.
22nd.
yeah, which is so.
Damn, well done, Apple.
I like-
1917.
It wasn't
2017.
1917.
2017. Wow.
Back in 1917.
yeah, I just went back a
Apple.
century.
Well,
wow.
one of the cool things about this is that our son was kind of the reason how we started, but then on our daughter's birthday is when the episode came out.
Oh, that's
So
true.
I
yeah.
always think about that our kids really have a huge
Well,
part to
wait,
do with this.
That's not true.
why.
The first episode was recorded on Sid's birthday.
yeah.
Well,
It wasn't
So,
released.
okay,
Went
it
on
wasn't
air on
released yet.
July 22nd.
So, like Mel was saying, our son bought me one of those snowball USB microphones.
this is what
It-
that is.
yeah, it's this big.
Sign language for Snowball. microphone.
And he was like, Dad, you guys are always talking about music and the Grateful Dead. You should start a podcast. And I had thrown around the idea of starting a podcast years ago, but I don't know. I just never got around to it. And then
Well, we had such a busy life up until that point. You were going to school.
Yeah.
We were in the process of moving, like,
Getting settled in.
Yeah, we had so much going on, and it just seemed like that was an excellent opportunity. We were new to Portland. We hadn't really like gathered too many hobbies or too many friends yet. And when you put it out, it started something, but it kind of like prior to that, we were still kind of settling in.
yeah, and I wasn't really sure what to do at first. Like there was no grand plan in my head. I just sat down on our porch, like with the mic clamped to the table outside, and recorded the story of going to my first Grateful Dead show. And
What made you think to do that?
wow, I don't know.
Yeah, like you could have been like, I'm a father of two.
That's
and
boring.
or you I freaking I don't know, my dad was a producer, like, you know what I mean, like you could have gone through
Yeah.
so many different angles because you've led a very interesting life up until that
Well,
point.
I mean, when Simon gave him the microphone, he kind of did give him direction by saying, you guys sit out there and talk about
Mhm.
music and stuff you love so much all the time. You should record it.
Yeah.
Even if not, I think he even said that, even if not to put out, but like for yourselves, like to listen back to.
Yeah. And I think too,
capture.
like the subject of my first Grateful Dead show, to me, it's one of the most impactful moments of my life. That's like a seminal part of developing who I am. And it just, to me, it made the most sense to talk about that. You know what I mean? And so I recorded that and sat on it. I was totally scared to release it. Like, I had never shared any of my trip with anybody. Like, it was 100% all private. Only my family knew that stuff. And it was a big deal to put that out. And I sat on it for a while. And then finally, at what Apple says on the 22nd,
Yeah.
I decided to do it. I knew nothing about like podcast hosting and like sound, working with sound and like any of that shit. And went ahead and put it out, man. And this whole thing started. Like, Apple was reminding me this morning, within 6 months. So like the first episode was just me. And then I think the second one,
Then it
was
was me and
you. And then me and Mel. And then like our daughter's boyfriend and random friends in the first few episodes. And then like 10 episodes in or something, Duncan Trussell came on.
Yeah.
And then after that, like within 6 months, we booked O'Teal for the show.
Yeah, that was our Christmas episode, 2017.
Yeah. And
Which, think about that, July to December, and we're getting top tier performers, people that we look up to so much literally within 6 months.
yeah, it's crazy.
And that was a lesson, because I remember, Aaron, you reached out to O'Teal on DM through Instagram, and also he's like, well, what's it gonna hurt? We learned that was a lesson right away. We learned early on, never hurts to ask.
No.
Heck yeah.
So and so many connections have been made through just DMing artists, and they surprisingly, they're manning their own Instagram, most of them, and
Most of them, yeah.
and they reply.
Well, it's
And-
hard to have someone other than yourself man a personal Instagram.
Yeah.
Think about that, because you'd have to have somebody
Oh, no,
with
it'd be
you
pretty dope.
24/7 to be like, okay, here's my cup of coffee in the morning. Like, they're not seeing everything that you're seeing, and they're not thinking everything that you're thinking.
Mm.
So you'd have to literally be like, post that right now, or take a picture right now. Like,
hurry up, man. What the fuck are you doing?
But
Not that one.
I wanted to say one thing about the O'Teal thing, because that was back in 2017. Aaron and I found out that he was agreed to be on the show on our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
We were celebrating our 20th anniversary. We were in Bend, was it? Or we were in Bend, and in this amazing freaking room with a jacuzzi outlooking the mountains. Like, it was great. And then Aaron gets this freaking DM from O'Teal and is like, holy shit, what do I do? Like, freaking
I do with my hands.
out. He was freaking out.
He
And I was
responded.
just like, say yes. Like, come on. Like, no big deal. But it was a big deal. And that, I think that I only bring that point up because a lot of things with No Simple Road have happened on special days. Like I was saying, like your Father's Day with Simon, and then the recording day with Sid on her birthday, and then our anniversary with O'Teal. And I think we just owe O'Teal a really great, debt of gratitude
For real, though.
Yes.
for agreeing to do something when it was such a, in its infancy.
Yeah.
And now he's got his own podcast and it's doing great. But like up until then, podcast, 2017, if you just think about that, however many years ago, almost 6 years ago, like, it was popular, but not as popular as it is right now.
I beg to differ.
Me and Apple and Aaron had all this
I beg
questioning.
to differ on this, man.
But-
You guys just weren't plugged into what was going on with podcasting then. It was huge and super popular.
But not everybody cared to do that or do one.
No,
That's what I'm saying
everybody
about
and
the
their mom hadn't started a podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
yet.
Popularity changed. Like, it was happening, but it wasn't as popular until I don't know, maybe even 5 years ago, it started getting really popular. So 7 years, maybe. Anyway, the years don't matter. My point is,
They all combine.
yeah, they do combine. No Simple Road has just been very pivotal in our personal life and in creating a life for a lot of other people.
Well, what slowly started to happen with the show was like the line between our day-to-day and No Simple Road, at least for me, real early on, started to get super blurry. Like, who we are on the podcast is who we are in life. It's all
Yeah.
about the stuff that we love and the shit that we're into. And booking the show, making the logos, editing, all the things that go into making a podcast, like that quickly became all that I was fucking doing. And it's all we talk about at the dinner table. It
Yeah.
was, and
it was kind of all consuming at a certain point in the
Yeah.
show,
and
and not bad or good.
No.
It just was like, holy shit, this is like happening.
yeah, and I think
And
there's
nobody knew what it was.
there's a misconception with like, at least for me, with other podcasts that have gotten popular, to think that like that was always the plan. Do you know what I mean? Like when they started that, the goal is to have a super,
yeah, sponsors
Yeah.
and like flying
This and
here and
that, yeah.
there.
that was never
Yeah.
the goal with this, at
Well-
least at first.
Well, was there a goal?
No, it
Not at
was
first,
not at
no.
first.
Okay.
No. And
Not for a
And-
while.
to be honest, like in
Well-
thinking about it now, I don't know that there's a goal now.
Well, I remember one of our goals that we kind of threw out there at first, as I remember me and Aaron were talking on the patio, it was wouldn't it be cool if we have a podcast that's doing good enough that we get to go see shows? That
That's
that we
true.
get to
Yeah,
go see
yeah, yeah.
more
That is
shows and
true.
everything, which is funny now. Now we're at the point where we get put on a lot of guest lists and stuff, but for the best part, we pay
Yeah.
Mhm.
because we're
Yeah.
totally into
I
supporting
want to
the
support
artists.
the musicians.
But that was
Absolutely.
one of the, it was like, how cool would that be that we, get invited to shows? And that started happening. And that was like, wow, that was amazing. That was amazing. And that was like kind of a goal at first. Like,
Did you,
what if we get to that point?
Apple, did you have a point where when the show maybe started to pick up that like was pivotal for you, like that you were like, oh shit, this is, happening or whatever, like whatever
I would definitely say that happened early on with the O'Teal
okay.
thing.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
O'Teal when because that was a big score at first. Like we expected, like, okay, you're gonna ask, and we're all we're older, we're used to rejection.
You're older.
Well, hey, I
Whatever.
am older.
Funny, dude.
but it was like, okay, ready to be rejected, and then that happened. And then like this morning, I was looking through older episodes. Then once O'Teal started, then we started getting authors like Jason Louv and other people and Greg Carlwood. And then it really started becoming a whole bunch of other guests in all different arts and formats.
Yeah.
And
And-
stuff. And then the thing I love too is to this day, we've also kept in there. I mean, we have big artists on and stuff, but also one of our funnest focuses is up and coming bands,
Yeah.
younger people, like just the whole community thing is what it's become all
That-
about.
That's where I was going with the whole monologue thing, was like, once the show got rolling and we started doing it weekly and it became like what we do on the weekends, we were going to shows and then recapping the shows that we were going to, and like it encompassed everything. What started happening outside of that was a community of listeners started growing,
Yeah.
and it was this byproduct of just doing the show. It was really kind of beautiful and weird, and to this day, like,
Beautiful and weird. I like that.
yeah, and well, it's like all of us. And
Mhm.
Bryce sitting here manning the comments and switching and stuff, like, we met Bryce because of No Simple Road. All
Yeah.
of our best friends that
Yes.
we have now are all
Directly related somehow
No
or
Simple
another.
Road.
to No Simple Road. Absolutely 100%. And I never thought that could be a possibility. It never even entered my my mind.
Yeah, like we manifested an entire friend and family group, people that can like watch our dog, people that will go on vacation with us, people that we have over for family dinners. Like it quickly became something that like it enriched our lives in ways that I never expected.
No, me either.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to remember earlier today too. Like we always do it to this day. Like anybody that's a listener or an artist that's been on the show or something, we invite them over. That started happening pretty early in like 2018. I can't remember who it was that first stayed with us, but we've had a lot of listeners come and spend the weekend with us, spend time.
You're all
stay
invited.
here.
Come on, it's fine.
Yeah, and
Just come
you
on.
know, bands and everything, and that it is so fun to do that. To also be as No Simple Road hosts and hostess to these people that are part of our community.
Yeah.
Well, like that was one of our when we initially moved from Vegas to Portland. One of our like big, 5-10 year goals was to
5-year plan.
Yeah, it was to live in a communal setting, and to have a place where people could come, whether it be like a bed and breakfast or an Airbnb.
Sounds like a bunch of hippies.
But more than just that, it was like having space for art and music and like interactive stuff. If you wanted to like cook dinner, if you wanted like all these different things. And so it was going to be a family in the, capital F sense of the word, where if you were at the property or if you were with us, you're part of it.
Yeah.
You're part of our crew. You're part of, what we're doing. And even though we haven't reached that status to where we have like our own property,
Not yet.
Yeah, we just haven't. We're it's there. It's just not. We're still here. This house has afforded us the opportunity to bring people in. Like we had Apollo Sons, which is, there was 6 members of them staying with us, and it was incredible. The amount of space that we had, the fun that we had. They set up their entire rehearsal up in our living room. And we had space for everything, and we had dinners. And to me, that's giving back to the musical community. Like that's what we've always, I'll take that always back. Once we started to do this and it started to roll, and we started to hear the stories of like being on the road and how much money that you're not making, or how tired they are, or how shitty they have to eat, that then it quickly became something like, we want to do something, even if it's just like, if you're stopping in Portland, we have some dog issues going on, guys.
It's part of the live stream.
It's fine.
Not issues.
But like, not issues. But like, once that started to happen, and we started to really see behind the red carpet, of the, touring scene, it became very evident that we wanted to be part of the rest and relaxation on the road,
Yeah.
And, come over, hang out, chill out, and then go do your thing, go do your show. And at least when you were, midway through your tour, you stopped in Portland, you had a fucking great time.
Yeah. So, if you just started listening to the show, or you're just seeing us on for the first time, like, this isn't a fully fleshed out machine that you see running here. Like, this is what you're seeing is and hearing on the show is our life happening like in real time.
Yeah,
sure. And it's like, I've done a lot of shit in my life. I've worked in television. I went to school for surgical assistant. I drove limos. I worked in telecommunications. I worked in restaurants. You name it, I've done it. And like, I never thought that all the shit that I did in my life could come together and be one cohesive thing. Like, my whole life I had been training for No Simple Road. Yeah.
It's crazy when you find your special purpose. Because I remember Aaron, like, he's always worn very many hats. Like,
I'm not wearing a hat now.
Not right now. I told him not to wear a hat today. But no, like, you've always done so many things. Like, I'm always the one that's accused of fucking being all over the place and running around like a chicken with my head cut off. But you have so many different skills that you do the same thing, just in your own way. You're like the tech guy, but you're also like fucking emailing the artist back, and then you're conducting the interview, and then you're putting out the graphics, and like, just those 4 things right there that's a whole team of people that we can involve.
I
in that.
wish.
And you're,
Shit.
we can involve.
I
in that.
wish.
And you're,
Shit.
Yeah, that's a lot
And
of
you're-
I could
conducting.
use a whole team.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of different, people that can be like, okay, we have the host here. All right, we've got our tech guy if anything goes wrong. All right, we've got our publicist so that we don't have none of that shit.
Mm-mm.
All three of us are all of
Yeah.
it. And Aaron's 80%, and then Aaron and
Well, and that's
I've gotten a little more percentage.
that's
but
the other thing too, is like at first I remember there was a day we were all out on the porch together. It was like midsummer, maybe a year after we started the show, and we were out there like normal, just like listening to music on a Friday or Saturday. And I wanted to tell these guys, like I had an epiphany, and I was like,
this is great.
I want to do No Simple Road full time, but I didn't know how to tell them. I was like kind of scared, and like, when you say some shit, then it means
Oh,
then it's
yeah.
out there and you can't take
Out
a
there,
shit
yeah.
back. And like I was sitting there and I turned down the music and I'm like, I gotta talk to you guys. I gotta tell you something. Man.
You could like read it all over his face too. He looked like something was like eating him up inside.
I have cancer. No. And I was like, I know what I want to do with the rest of my life. And they're like, what? I was like, I really want to do No Simple Road from now on as like my job. I want to do it full time. And they were like so nonplussed by what I just dropped this like huge heart opening,
That you've been
life altering
building
thing
up.
that I had. It was like nervous and planning to tell you all week. And you guys were like, well, yeah, figured that's what you were going to do anyway. Why are you saying
Duh.
that?
It seemed very evident that that's where it was going, and it just your declaration seemed like 2 days to like like late. Like what? We already knew that. What are you talking
As
about?
I'm skateboarding, I'm like, I'm going to learn how to skateboard.
Yeah,
You're,
I was
dude,
like,
you're doing that already. Yeah. So it became everything for us. And like I said,
well, it is.
yeah.
still.
And the community was the thing that like really made it amazing, was the people that we were meeting at shows and like the emails that we were getting from listeners, and just all of it became and has become the most wonderful part of everything for
Yeah.
us. And so then
So
what had happened was
What
we-
happened?
we hooked up with Osiris Media and became part of a network, which was like, I remember listening to Duncan Trussell, and he was on Star. I forget the name of the network. Anyway, Star Band or something like that. And I
He was
thought,
on network.
how cool that a podcast has networks and like they work, and that's just beyond reach. Like that'll never happen to us. And then lo and behold, here we are, part of Osiris Media, which is like the podcast network for the whole jam community,
yeah.
and that was and then I remember being like, it would be so cool if we could have sponsors like the other big podcasts have. And lo and behold, boom, now we got sponsors, and like it just started picking up. And
Well, just going to that sponsor part, because you were like, oh, it'd be cool if we have sponsors. And then you went and reached out to Shop Tour Bus, which Shop Tour Bus is still our longest standing sponsor. We love them to death, and they have the most amazing merch, Grateful Dead inspired merch.
We'll have a wardrobe with their stuff. now.
Absolutely. I was actually going to wear one, but I thought I'd sport. Our
this
No
is the
Simple
part of
Road.
Wayne's World when they hold up the Pepsi cup.
Yes. Well, but it was just kind of amazing how you reached out to them. You sent them an email because you were really impressed by what they were doing.
The boxes.
They weren't just making
and the
t-shirts.
shirts.
Yeah, they weren't just making t-shirts and sending it. They were creating something fun.
They were putting love into it.
Yeah, they were putting something that quite frankly we'd never seen before. It was something very special. And so reaching out to them and trying to find hey, do you want to be our sponsor? Like
Mhm.
that started to legitimize the show in my eyes, because it was like, oh shit, someone's giving us money. Like
Yeah.
no matter how much it was or how little it was like, we're getting money now, and now we have to like say something. Like before we could just like get on and just talk and it was no big deal, but now we actually have to be like, hey, Shop Tour Bus is our sponsor, and this is our discount code. And it started to like really wake me up from, we're just having fun with it. Because for me, I was just thinking that it was just a fun thing
A
to
hobby.
do.
Well, it
Yeah.
was at first. It was just a fun thing to do on
But
the
it was like that
weekends,
for
and
me for quite a while.
It was cute.
Yeah.
It stopped being
Meeting
cute a
few
while back.
Yeah, it
friends
was
and
cute.
stuff.
And I was like proud of Aaron, like, oh, he's doing this cute stuff and he's reaching out to fun people and we're learning about new music. Like, yay.
And
then well, and to back up a sec too, one of the big things we owe a great debt of gratitude to is Jonathan Hart from
Yes.
Broke Down Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because we are all, I was not listening to any podcasts at the beginning when we started. Aaron was. And then he got me to listen to that because what Jonathan did is amazing. And his podcast is still going strong on our network. But we had him on the show pretty early on. And then next thing you know, he had put a word in for us with Osiris. And that's how that all came about.
Yeah. It's like Mel was saying, a lot of the things that have happened with the show have been synchronicities or like magical moments of things that you just what? And like that theme has carried through until this. I mean, including this.
It hasn't stopped, you should say, because
yeah. So, with media the way it is right now, like, yeah, people want their podcast. They want to be able to listen to their podcast, but they also want to see and be able to interact with their hosts and stuff like that. And like, this was the next logical step, was stepping into the live stream world. And it's funny because I'll just tell you guys, I mean, what, we got time, right? You guys hanging out?
Time.
I'll tell you the story how this happened. So Danny actually was a guest on our show like 3 or 4 or 5 episodes in. He was one of the first people to ever come on No Simple Road.
Episode 5.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Danny in a while. And
Danny, then you moved back to Jersey for a while, came back. Aaron, Apple and I knew Danny from the cannabis industry.
Apple and you.
Sorry. Apple and I. And so he was just a good friend and I know, interchangeable.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. I shouldn't even correct you.
You
Just
too.
let it happen.
I know. But anyway, so yeah, that's how Danny came to be.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, excuse me, Danny hit me up on Instagram and was like, hey man, I haven't seen you guys in a while. You guys, is it cool if I come over to the house? I want to hang out. And so we had Danny over, and the whole time Danny was here, he's just like pitching live streaming to us. He's like,
Specifically Twitch.
yeah,
but
he's like, you guys need to be live streaming on Twitch. It's telling you it's another way for you guys to interact with your community. It would be so huge for you guys. And we were all like, oh, yeah, like that sounds cool, whatever. And what was the second one?
Well, Danny came, and then our great friend Dan.
Yeah.
Our daughter's friend, videographer, family member. Like Dan has a special place in my heart specifically because he's like Sid's like older brother / uncle / cousin that loves Sid and appreciates her beauty from a artistic standpoint, and they have such great collaborations, and it's just, they're amazing. And he's taken the best family photo that we've ever had.
I wish I would have had it like queued up and ready to go.
Yeah, because it's worth everything. But anyway, so Dan happened to be in town visiting his family in Portland just a week or a few days after Danny's visit. And he came and started talking about his, he had bought some new gear for his drone and a new lens and all this, and then started talking about a project that he has going on for YouTube.
And he's like, you guys need to be live. Now, these two people, mind you, do not know each other. They have no clue who each other are.
Danny and Dan.
You guys need to be live streaming, man. Like it's the next logical step for No Simple Road. You can get engaged with your community. It'll be great. Okay, cool. So I'm like, that's 2 in the back of my head. The universe is like, hey, Aaron, you guys need to be live streaming. And I was like, all right, I'm listening, whatever. It's a lot of money for the equipment and whatever. So then we have a call scheduled a couple days after that with Osiris Media, just to like, a quarterly check-in call or whatever. And we get on the call and they're like, we think you guys should be live streaming. So it's the next logical step for you. And every one of the people that said that we should be live streaming said those words. It's the next logical step for you guys.
At that point, you can't. It's like, I don't know. Send me a sign.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like you just had 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I feel like there was,
Ta-da.
well, no, I feel like there
No.
was more than that. I can't remember now, but it really is like first of all, on a personal note, I always loved having the audio aspect of it because
you could be anonymous behind the mic in your jammies.
Yes, we did some amazing podcasts looking tore up, and nobody would ever have known it.
Well,
No,
especially on the porch.
It's
out
true,
there
like,
all bundled
all
up.
Sunday-headed,
Coffee.
yes.
2 days or day after a show when you're spun with
Absolutely.
coffee and a cigarette. Like,
And I love that anonymity. It never bothered me. Like, you know, I had a harder time like jumping on the I guess on the podcast market because if we weren't the subject of like No Simple Road, I think maybe I would have had an easier time, but it was about us. And so talking
is about us.
it's about us. And so sharing myself personally, not with these guys, but sharing Melanie's self was very weird and it took me a while. It was like it's a learning curve. So now adding the video element, that was like, what? Now I gotta like comb my hair and like look decent.
Gotta
I mean, I was gonna do
Look,
it.
I even showered you guys on the weekend.
I was
For
gonna do it
real.
anyway, but like whenever I wanted to, you know. So it's added something even more. I don't want to say professional because we are professional, but I don't.
You should see the studio right now.
The connotation. I don't want to put like we're so professional. We're like right in that. We know what we need to be doing. We still like to have fun. We're gonna do the best that we can, but we're not gonna stress about it.
But don't they call that prosumer?
Well, I just remembered
Maybe I don't
we
know.
all went through our own little. Aaron was first when he
Yeah.
put out that first episode. I remember me and him were at the grocery store, and he nearly
Yeah,
had a
I
panic
was
attack.
there. Oh yeah, we were
Yeah,
all
well,
there.
okay, we were all there, and then he's like, "I need we need to get home. I need to take that down.
Yeah.
I need to take that down. I just shared like
I
my
can't
life,
do that, man.
and and then he didn't obviously let it roll and everything, and then me and Mel went through our own things because both of our jobs, then and present, like people knew more about us than we wanted them to at first because we were very open and honest. And it was like, oh, and then as it grew, we would run into people at shows, which we've talked about, that they would come up and be like, oh, and they would know so many things about us, things that we had forgotten talking about. And it's like a few times I was like, how the hell do they know that? And it's like, oh, because we put that out there.
Yeah.
They're hearing that. And now we've come to the point where, you know, anybody has been a listener for a while, we share everything.
Yeah,
our
we do.
medical problems, our how we're feeling, our, you know, sometimes a little
TMI.
maybe, yeah, a little TMI sometimes.
I got a hemorrhoid the size of a grapefruit.
But it's amazing because every time we do anything, especially when it's something like, ooh, I shouldn't have fucking shared that. Somebody, not just somebody, usually many people tune in and give us feedback. Like, thank you for saying that because I'm dealing with the same thing.
Well, that's one of the like greatest byproducts of doing the show is that, like, I've mentioned the community a bunch of times, but it's like it gives us that assurance that we're all doing this life thing together, and that like you're not alone if you puked in the trash can at the last show, or you have fucking hemorrhoids, or your hair's falling out, or you have depression, or you know, whatever. It's like,
and we found that extends to all of our heroes and favorite artists.
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
We're all just normal people living this life and doing the best we can and getting over obstacles.
One of the
dealing with
cool things, we were talked to Maggie Rhodes during the pandemic, and Aaron was mentioning how at one point during the pandemic, he looked in his closet and was like, what the fuck is this? Like, who is this guy? I don't even relate to him anymore. And Maggie said the same thing. She's like, well, imagine me. I have a fucking closet full of costumes.
Oh, shit.
And I'm sitting here in my fucking apartment with my husband. Just what? I'm going to dress up every fucking night. And like, it didn't make sense. And so that kind of level, like in the midst of like something big, like the pandemic, where we're all feeling isolated and sad and scared, to share that kind of a deep, like, aha moment. It was incredible. It
Yeah.
was like a soothing balm to the soul when nobody was having any kind of like solace in anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
And-
whole other trippy part of all of this shit is like how through quarantine and 2020 and everything that happened with COVID, like this became essential
Oh yeah.
for us. I'm not saying that No
No.
Simple Road is fucking essential. I'm saying for us.
Well, think about like everybody just kind of remember back to 2020 or whatever when everything started to like your vacation plans got canceled, your concerts got canceled, your work.
Okay,
stuff
I'm
got-
done remembering
all
that.
that-
Life got canceled.
Right? Yeah, everything got canceled, and then so you have fucking nothing to do. You have nowhere to go, nothing to do. You can't visit anybody. So our time on No Simple Road was our getting packed up and like leaving the house, so to speak. Like it was our time to kind of like get out of our pajamas and be in a space where we were doing something different, something that mattered, and like we threw a lifeline out to the outside and we were getting a response.
Yeah. That's a trip. That's still a trip to me that like I didn't grow up with technology, man. Like
No,
it
no, we did not.
I had the phone book and
And maps.
for Bryce, it just makes sense for your generation to like, of course, technology connects all of us. Of course, that's how you do what you do. But like seeing it happen in that magical kind of a way when we're all like on our own islands and this thing that we started mostly by accident becomes a lifeboat for an entire community of people,
Yeah.
including the artists that we look up to and love. Like it's a trip to think
Mhm.
that any of those people that we've seen at shows are like, can we come on your show? Are you fucking kidding me? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, right now.
That was another huge like pivotal shift for us in, especially for me, like in the importance of No Simple Road was when people started to ask to come on the show.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Mm.
They want to come on our show? Like, not that like it's not like I think that we do anything bad. I'm really proud of all the work that we do. It's just, wow, people know about it and they feel like they're a match for us and they want to come on and wow, they've listened, so they know what they're in for and they want to be on here. Hell yeah.
I like that. They know what
They know
they're
what
in
they're in
for.
for.
I
They're
like
they're in
that.
for an unscripted interview is what
Well,
they're in for.
Yeah.
Well, and that started happening quick. Like we all kind of wonder, especially during the beginning of like the pandemic thing, is we're a live music podcast. Aaron was like, what the hell are we gonna do? We didn't know that didn't last very long. It lasted like about a month. And then all of a sudden it turned into we were able to interview just about anybody we wanted to because everybody was at home. Unprecedented ever. All the artists were at home. Nobody was going anywhere, and they were kind of settling in and reflecting on themselves, their home life, like we were, like the whole world was. The attention turned towards home wellness, personal wellness, and it ended up being. We ended up starting to get some of just amazing interviews.
Yeah, man. If that hadn't happened, I mean, it maybe would have in the future. We would have been able to get him, but I don't think we would have been able to get Billy Strings so easily, or Dave Schools, or
because they're
Medeski,
so busy touring.
Yeah, those names, like those guys were sitting at home.
Yeah.
So I say for anybody that's watching right now who hasn't listened to
The one person that's watching right now, whoever you are, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for but like those pandemic years episodes, I mean, I know we're still technically in it, but like that 2020, 2021, those interviews are a lot deeper than the 2019, 2018. And I
don't know about all that.
Deeper in a different way. It was like
So there was a heavy more. It was
heavy.
There was a heaviness in the world, so that they were heavier.
Yeah, like in 2019, people are still excited and jovial, and even though we're talking about heavy content, there's still some light at the end of the tunnel.
The world was still open.
There was no tunnel.
Yeah, in 2020 and 2021, it was just we're all shoveling shit, and we don't know when we're gonna stop.
I don't want to shovel shit.
Yeah, we were at that point. We were like happy to go to the grocery store once a week.
Yeah.
Like,
So
that was getting out.
So there's somebody in the comments, big ups, and he says, this is so cool. As an artist, I know once you get the train started, it doesn't stop. And that's why a lot of people have a bigger fear of success and the unknown rather than failure.
Big ups for real though, that I know that the success part in my past has always been a harder pill to swallow than failing for me.
And I don't,
For me personally, yeah.
that's been that whole thing of like fear of success. If you would like ask me even 3-4 years ago, are you afraid of success? I would have instantly said no. Like, no, fuck no. Give me all of it.
Yeah,
What do
bring it
yeah,
on.
let's,
Woo.
let's do it. But
Let's succeed.
as the show has gotten more popular and we've started doing more, it has uncovered the ways that I have been afraid of success in the
Mhm.
past.
Yeah, we cover it up so well.
Yeah,
We
man.
really have a knack, humans have a knack for hiding in plain sight what our fears are.
Yeah, and it's weird too because it was covered up with action to the contrary.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Give me an example.
Doing No Simple Road.
Like, I don't want any
I'm
attention.
doing stuff. Well, no, I'm doing stuff to be successful while at the same time being afraid of success. Like,
Mm.
and then finding ways that I shoot myself in the foot on purpose so that I don't have to do the thing. Do you know?
Mm.
I remember, we're talking about the origins of the show and all that stuff. Like when Mel and I got that initial text from O'Teal, I remember feeling like, oh fuck, he said he's gonna do it. Now we have to do it. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
I asked for
I asked
it.
for this and I got it.
Yeah, I got it. And what? Oh.
And the same thing with we live podcasted from Summer Meltdown. And I was like, we'd fucking kill it at a live podcast. I want to do a live podcast so bad. I'm gonna pitch it to this festival, all cocky. And they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you guys do. I was like, oh shit. Now I gotta do it.
And I remember walking to the stage for that live podcast, and my level of nerves, like I was so
fuck, it's terrifying. There was like 6 people there.
So nervous. Well, there was
It filled in.
there was
That
like
was-
there was
I'm
like
just
50.
fucking-
There was
I'm
like 50
exaggerating.
people, but it was pretty small, and we ended up having tears coming up out of that stage, and
Well,
like the
and-
amount of emotion.
And that one too, that was one of the first ones too, where we realized like everybody up there, all the friends of Chris who built that stage for several years and stuff, he never got there. Like he doesn't really get recognition for this and doesn't really want it. He just likes to do his thing. And then we got him up on stage and it turned into such a fantastic interview.
It was amazing.
Live, and all of us in tears, and it got emotional, and it was like, oh my God.
And that
This
whoever Big Ups is, thanks for commenting because
Put that other one
can
up.
you put the one that the and doing stuff, the other one, not that one, to Bryce. Yep, that one. Doing stuff like this becomes bigger in you at some point because it's for the people and not just a little secret circle. That was what happened at Summer Meltdown. It wasn't just us sitting on the porch anonymously putting episodes out into the ether. There were faces in front of us, and it wasn't a secret anymore who we were and what we were doing. It was like we were out. That was fucking terrifying. Like I said, I talk a big game. I was talking shit. I wanted to go do a live podcast. I thought we'd be good at it. And then they said yes. And it was like, oh, fuck. And I remember we had partied really hard the night before, and I was serotonin not having it that next day. And I remember standing in that forest, hugging Mel, crying, being like, I don't know if I could do this. Yeah.
What
Talking
did I say?
shit. You were, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I'm
either.
sure
That's
you
why I
were like,
asked.
you can do
No,
this.
I think actually at that point you were like, I'm dealing with my own shit right now. I think that's what happened. And I can't help you, man. You're gonna have to figure it out.
We all got to fucking come up on our
Just
own.
figure it out, baby.
Well, okay. One of the best things about doing No Simple Road for me is having you and Apple as my parachute. Like that is the best thing, because when I'm nervous or when I get too stoned or when I
that never happens.
yeah,
You
no,
never do
no.
that.
anything that like will affect me, it's like I have you guys that like Aaron will always like, okay, you know, kind of bring the horse back onto the road. And then Apple will have some cool quip, you know, that he says or some, you know, some research that he's done. And it just has become such a great way to show and display our relationship.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna date myself for those of you that know. If you ever saw The Jerk, like with Steve Martin, he found his special purpose, and like I really feel like that with No Simple Road. Like I fucking found what I'm supposed to do with my life, and because I'm like giving back to the thing that I'm supposed to be doing, magic is happening around me, and not because of me,
No,
but because I'm like, we all have like a certain space that we're supposed to fit in the world. We are a unique Lego piece that only fits in a certain few places in the whole wide universe.
well,
And when you find that click spot for
Yeah.
yourself, it puts the whole puzzle together around you.
I remember early on, you know, you had to do a lot of convincing to me and Apple about like what it was, what we were doing and where we're going and stuff like that. And as the show went on, there was like pivotal moments for each one of us that were like, okay, I'm fucking in the game now. I'm all in, you know, and that right there, having an anonymous energy pushing you to
Oh,
do
that's
something.
a whole other live stream conversation.
It's like it's so hard. And I'm just reading Big Up's comment.
is the
Thank
word.
you. You guys are a great example of doing what you love, and having a pure heart leads us all together like rivers to the ocean. I mean, it's right. We are doing what we love, but at first it didn't seem that way. It seemed harder to do.
Well, I think that's
We,
how it is with everything. Like I don't think anybody out the gate just has it together.
I don't know.
Dude, we've been doing this 5 years. I still don't.
Yeah, there's still newness daily. Daily. You guys, I knew
Well, that's-
nothing about technology, and this week I feel like I feel like
You got the crash course.
I feel like I'm in MIT.
I think that's one thing I love about No Simple Road and what we do and everything is it's always going to be raw.
Oh,
It's always good that there's, you know, we're not, like Aaron said it earlier, we're not striving for perfection or anything.
You're not
being
whatever,
us.
dude. She fucking get
I
it.
thought
Okay,
you were
you're part of the
perfect
show.
already.
You
Go
better.
for- Well, I don't want to make you guys feel bad by pointing out my
Sorry.
perfectness. So I act like an idiot sometimes to
Oh.
make you guys feel better about
That's
yourselves.
what it is. All right,
That's
I get it. Now.
Yeah.
and Cody's comment. First of all, Cody,
We love you,
are
man.
You're our we love you, but that stuff like that, Cody said that he manifested us 3 too. He literally did. I've never been like demanded to be a friend before. Nobody's ever
You're
been
gonna be my friend now.
I don't recall ever that having something like that. And let me just say the amount of amazing souls that we've had come in through No Simple
Mhm.
Road changed our life forever. If we stop tomorrow, our life has been enriched more than
Enriched
we
so
could have
much.
ever expected.
I saw this
Yeah.
morning a clip on Instagram of Jerry talking to some interviewer, and he was talking about playing music, and I'm paraphrasing. I didn't memorize the quote. Sorry, everybody. But he was like, I can't believe that I get paid to do this. Like, this is magic that I get to play music and I get paid for it. I would be doing this whether I got paid for it or not. Like, that's just a bonus, the getting paid for it. And I feel like that with listeners to the show. We would be
Mhm.
doing what we're doing right now anyway. I mean, minus the cameras and the lights and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be doing this anyway, whether there was people listening or not. There just happens to be listeners
Yeah.
that are interested in what's happening because we have the opportunity to have some amazing guests on the show.
Yeah, we do.
Right. And so I think that's how the real magic happens, is like when you're doing it because it's who you are and where you fit in the universe. Like,
And it's not so hard. It's not so, I was going to say not so hard, but no, it's not that easy to find what you love, because a lot of times we're tuned off to ourselves. We're fucking bad childhoods, or just trying to make money to live your life, or family drama. So a lot of times you're not necessarily tuned into like what you love to do.
No,
Uh-huh.
I'm 26 years old. It took me a long time to figure out, what I want.
I love, you guys can't see
Wow.
this, but the second Aaron said that, I'm 26 years old. No,
I'm kidding. I'm 50. It took me fucking forever to figure out what I want to do. It literally, like I said in the beginning of the show, I tried everything, man. I went to surgical tech school. Like I said, all that shit. And it wasn't until moving up here to Oregon into the house with these guys that figured it out. And you know what? Without you guys out there listening, this thing would have never become anything. It would have just been anonymous.
Been us still
And
it
hanging out.
would have stayed a secret circle.
Yeah. And
Yes.
so, if you've listened to the show, sometimes in the outros or the intros, you hear us talk about like how grateful we are to you guys for giving us the opportunity to do this.
Yeah, like engaging with us
And
and writing in and stuff.
I guess it may come through audibly in our voices, but you can see my face now. Like it means everything to us. No, for real, man. Like it really does. To have the opportunity to be a voice for the community that changed my life,
Yeah.
and to have a platform in that community
Yeah.
is fucking
Amazing.
Please believe that the gravity of that thing is not lost on me at all. And also the responsibility of that. Like, it's fun. Of course, it's a fucking blast to get to do this, but like, that's a heavy responsibility, man.
Yeah.
That's no joke to be the voice of something that changes lives. That's fucking heavy. When we were at Skull and Roses a couple weeks ago, we were interviewing Catfish John, and I can't remember which guy in the band said it, but he said the Beatles changed music
Scott.
and the Grateful Dead changed people.
Yeah, that was Scott.
Yeah,
Scott that said that.
I mean, you just let that fall on your ears for a moment. Changing people is not an easy feat. You try to be like, change your husband or your wife or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kids. No, it ain't happening. But when you can change somebody, I'll change it. When you can inspire somebody to change, like the Dead has done, because of their music and the happiness that it brings and the, connectivity and all of that, I mean, it's special. It's sweet. It's the nectar of life,
I just think about, like, I don't even know if that's, when I think back to my first show, I don't know if I was inspired by that to change. It was one person walking in the door and a different person walking
I
out.
beg to differ. Inspiration. Think about what inspiration does. It's not one thing.
I just wanted to say moves you brightly.
Moves. Of course you do.
And you were. I was going to say. I'm glad Mel's saying it too, because like bullshit, you weren't inspired.
Right? Thank you,
It
Apple.
changed your life. You became a completely different person after that,
Okay,
and were inspired
okay.
to go on the
Inspiration.
road
Okay.
and to change
You
your
changed
life.
your
You
hair.
found
You changed
family.
your life. You changed your clothes. Like,
You were
that-
inspired, young man, and you
Yeah.
recognized
Sorry.
yeah.
inspiration.
Right on, Apple.
I just wanted to say that. That's why I was just leading into that.
Yeah, the gravity of the whole thing, like, is not lost to me.
All right.
And
Can I ask a question?
sure.
I want all of us to answer it, but I'm going to start with Apple since he always goes last. Top 5 No Simple Road moments,
Oh shit.
period.
Top 5.
Whether it's a guest or an outing or something at home or something on the show, like top 5 No Simple Road.
top 5. Okay, so the way my mind works is I'm going
Get
to go.
comfortable, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to go chronologically. I would start with O'Teal, our Christmas episode. That's when it really kind of cemented like this is possible to talk to people that we admire and that we thought were on the other side, that were on the stage, and we were not part of that. Number 2, would probably be which one was that? That was 2018 when we went to High Sierra. That was our first festival with the whole people have listened to the whole doo-doo limo story, all that. That was an adventure. That was our first time ever going to a festival. First band we ever talked to live was Twiddle. I'll never forget that.
Never.
We were in the green
hot little
room.
green room.
Yeah,
It's the best day of my life.
and that also rolls into which these are all, they're not in order of importance, but that also at that time, which I'm sure is on your guys's, we got to sit down with Neil Casal. And that at the time we didn't know what all that meant. That was amazing at the time, but what that meant with things that happen in life, that is something that will never be lost. Then after that, I would say then it was probably Summer Meltdown that Aaron was just talking about when we did our first. These are kind of like milestones too. When we first did a live podcast from that stage. Forget the name of the
forest
stage. The forest stage, which was in the middle of the forest with hammocks, and there was like so much
dream
intention
catchers and
the way that stage was built and the family and community that built that stage and all the stuff around it. That was another one. And then, well, I'm at 4 already, and that's still early on. I'd say, I mean, 5 is probably like where we're at now. Like what is happening right now
in the moment.
Yeah, us doing this. Totally. And it's funny because this is number 6.
I knew it. That's why I told you all to get comfortable.
Because this is putting everything, like, kind of paraphrasing. Every time we do something, it's our new favorite.
Yes,
which is living in the moment. Every time we go, each festival we go to, each show we go to, each person we interview, it's our new favorite because we love doing this so much.
Wow.
Oh,
it's my turn?
You want to go last, babe?
No.
You go ahead.
So Aaron, what are your
what are your top 5, 6 moments of
or now that I'm thinking of not even necessarily top, but like really stand out.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. We played a game a while back where Mel had this magazine and it had like tables, like a whole bunch of tables.
Did I just pick all the things you'd pick?
And she was like, if you were a table, which one would you be? And she opened the book and we would in our mind pick the table that we were. And then we did it several different
like
things.
A lamp,
and
a table.
Apple and I picked the same fucking thing every single time. Out of 50 different things, we picked the same. Anyway, I'm gonna have to
Apple
try
and Aaron
and
are twinsies, is what he's trying to say.
You stole my thunder.
Do you want me to go?
No.
Well, that's why like Mel threw me first, because a lot of times you steal you guys both do. We all we're so different but so similar on things. Sometimes it gets to me and then it'd be 10
you got
things.
Nothing left.
Then it'd be 10 things later. I'd be talking about 11
200 plus episodes to choose from.
All right, here we go.
Come on.
So my first favorite No Simple Road moment, besides all the 5 that Apple already stole, is a picture on the wall that's behind us. You guys can't see it. And I've told the story on the show. It was the first time I took Mel at the Gorge to see Fish, and there was like a turn on moment that happened, like when Mel got Fish, and Apple actually fucking took a picture of it.
I captured 2 of them.
Yeah.
I captured the one of Mel's face when she was laying on the hill looking at me. There's a whole series of those, and then the one with the arms
amazing.
up.
So that is even above O'Teal, above this, that moment of like, ever since we started going to shows again, like all I wanted for you was to get it, like how I saw it. Like I wanted you on the bus. And it was always like you would get on the bus and it stunk and you would get off. Like,
yeah, she'd go for the ride. She'd go for the ride and then be like, okay,
that was cool. Bus left.
There's
bus
my stop.
Yeah. But that night, the fucking bus came by and you got on. And it was I saw it happen moment. And the energy of the music was like coming through you into me. And the picture is like Mel with her arms wrapped around my waist and my fucking fist in the air, like, yes, it fucking finally happened after all these years. So that number 1. best
Yeah.
fucking thing ever.
And a big thank you to Fish.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Geez, number 2 is hard to, it it's not a No Simple Road moment, but it is because it's us,
Yeah.
right? Is tripping super hard at Radiohead with you two.
Oh,
That is a moment that
It's definitely not.
that was a moment
It's
where
not,
we all,
but
yeah.
it is.
That is a moment where we all walked out changed.
Changed.
Yeah, we were
For
different.
the better.
Yeah. And I gotta take Apple's thing. Doing the live podcast, because like I said, I was terrified to do it, and it went so good. You know,
did go
it
so
went
good.
so good. And how many is that?
That's
3.
three.
Okay.
I mean, if that's all you got.
No,
Trace.
I got a couple more.
Okay. Whoa.
Number 4 is being in New York City this past April and meeting listeners across the country from where we live that stopped us and said, thank you for what you're doing. We love
what
the
you
show. That is just like, holy fucking shit. We are 2,500 miles away from where we live,
Yeah.
and there's people that actually listen to what we do. Holy smokes. And then this is tough.
Oh, this
'Cause-
is the one that brings it home.
Yeah,
This
because
is
there's a lot
fine.
of them, man. But
There's so many. So many.
I have, again, this right now, because
Love it.
but here's the thing, like my dad was a TV producer. My whole life I grew up around show business and cameras and lights and all that shit. And oh fuck, I'm getting emotional.
I just did.
But that's what we do.
Yeah.
My dad passed away a couple of years ago in December. And he would be so fucking proud.
He is.
You know,
Yeah.
he would be so stoked to see us doing this, and like to know that we're having fun and like using all the shit that he taught me. And so yeah, this definitely.
And to see us doing all together. I just want to chime in on when you're talking about your dad.
You're
because
crying.
this goes back to the thing your dad said early on when we were younger. Didn't he say something like you know, you can't really you know trust friends and this
Oh,
and that
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
stuff. But then I mean, me and Aaron have been in each other's lives for a long time, and it felt really good to me. You're also on your mom did it too. Like at points when as we got older,
Your
we're
mom did it.
like, wow, you guys are really lucky to have each other.
Yeah.
Like you found a friend that you can count on, that you can believe in, that does have your back. And to be here at 50 and 53, and then to have Mel in here as like our parachute, our guide, our life coach, our Reiki like
smoothie
so
maker.
many things. It's just we complement each other well. But my point of that is for your dad to recognize that. My dad as well. They came from a generation where it was about, you know, like the American dream.
You
Like
look
the
out for number one.
the kids, the house. You can't trust anybody. Only you can take. To recognize like you guys are blessed to have such a blessed friendship
Yeah.
and brotherhood and sisterhood.
Yeah, so because of that, like stuff. This
Stuff.
Let me just boil it down to stuff. No, he
I
would be
can-
stoked, man. And
I can hear him. They'd be like, he's like, well, goddamn, you two fucking idiots made it work.
yeah, shit.
you three idiot. Well, not you never call
We
Mel
would
an
never
idiot, but
ever
us
call
two,
Mel an
you'd be
idiot.
like, oh, you did Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Thank God Mel came along, fucking shaped you guys up.
Yeah,
You're doing good, kids.
your turn, babe.
Well, one of the very first moments, I'm already emotional just listening to you guys, like,
I know. I get
Sorry.
like tearing up and everything. But one of the very first amazing things was having our grandson on the show
Oh,
when he
yeah.
was days old,
Yeah.
and having Sydney and Adam and Jasper on the show, like recording our fucking life and like these incredible moments that are happening had nothing to do with music, but it did. And it also had nothing to do with the show, but it did. And that's a time where I felt like, wow, what we're doing is so huge for our future
For our
right
family,
now.
yeah.
Like it really kind of made a mark in my life that like what we're doing is recording these incredible moments, and Jasper is going to know who we are long after we're gone, and he can go back on like May 21st and be like, oh yeah, they were here. And it was an amazing thought.
Wow.
So that one.
To listen to his mom and his dad and his
Yeah,
dad's
when he's
band.
minutes
We've had
old.
all that on. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he can get to know his grandparents just through No Simple Road. That's crazy.
My second one is Terrapin Crossroads.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That to me was like, because it was so important to the two of you. Like I had never been there when we live podcasted from Terrapin Crossroads. We live podcasted with the Higgs, and at that time the Higgs and us, we were just so close and we loved them, and we just had such a mutual kind of like love for each other. And to be able to go to Phil's fucking place and live stream or live podcast from the stage that the musicians that we love are playing on, it was a whole other level of highness that I had never expected to get from the show. And then just being there with the guys like before and after the show, and just it just felt like we were part of it. It didn't feel like we were outsiders coming in. It felt as if we were part of the scene that we love so much.
Dude, just stepping on that stage in Terrapin Crossroads to do anything.
Exactly.
Being
Fucking
invited,
kidding me?
Being invited to that table, like we always said, like come sit down at the table. You're welcome.
One of my next ones is getting picked up from the airport from Big Red One.
Yeah.
When we went to Denver to go to our first Red Rock shows, and this was like this past summer, and there was a million reasons why it was so special. But here we are, the three of us in a brand new city. These two yahoos go off to smoke like they usually do. And I'm like walking away from them the opposite direction. And all I hear is Mel. And I look up and I see this beautiful Viking with fiery red hair, like, come on, Mel. He's waiting for us and like picking us up in a fucking strange city that we don't live in. We don't have
He doesn't live there either.
He doesn't live there either. And he's picking us up, taking us to the Airbnb that he booked. It was just so many levels of gratitude for what was, I felt like a pinch myself moment. Like, oh my God, we're getting freaking picked up to this beautiful house. We're going to this concert at Red Rocks that like, holy shit, we're going to Red Rocks to see Green Sky, which we were
circles around the
circles
sun.
around this, like all this incredibleness. And so, yeah, that was, it was just something in my heart that was so grateful for what we were getting. It really was.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Because we both brushed over, and that was so special too. I'm sorry, I just got to chime in because the three of us got to share first time at Red Rocks together.
Yes.
As us.
Yes.
And No Simple Road.
It was fun.
like so special because of that.
Another moment was when Rain Riser, Jess, came to visit. And I picked that because that was like something like specifically for me, like the show. I always like, oh, that's Aaron's show or Aaron. And I always felt like that. I don't feel like that anymore. But come like in the years, before I felt like that, I was like, oh yeah, that's Aaron's thing. And so having a listener reach out to me and like befriending me on a side note, aside from the show, and wanting to come out and spend time with me was I just couldn't believe it. Like, why? Like, I get it. I get why, but also like, why?
And isn't that Yeah, you guys did the camping trip.
Yeah, we
and
did it.
Yeah.
We had made these beautiful plans. We went on a camping trip. We went horseback riding. We freaking visited Apple at the dispensary. Like, we just had such an amazing girl time. It was the best. And the best part about it was that I have never met her before. She never met me before. But when we came together, we were laughing like, high school homies and joking and all that stuff. So yeah, that for me, it kind of made our listeners real.
Yeah.
I know that Cody was already there, and there's like a lot of our people.
No,
already
but it
there,
made it
like,
real for you.
yeah, because here we have a woman in Florida, freaking, the Keys, who, like, she don't freaking know us, but she wants to fly to Oregon, the exact opposite terrain, and come hang at, like, kick
Yeah,
it.
to
Like,
pick as one of your vacations to come see us.
yeah, it was like super special for me, and I'll never forget that, and I am always grateful for that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow.
and yeah, there's like all.
Is that
these-
it?
No,
that
I
was
have
4?
I have
No,
one
she's got
more.
5.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, hey, Jason. Yeah, we are growing up.
I know.
Hey, buddy, love you.
It's so, the thing is like, any shows that we've gone to and we've seen the Abels or the Raverts or Cody, like, I guess I'll pick this one just because it's on the fresh in my mind. Meeting RJ in person at the Chase Center in San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Was another highlight. RJ is
Well, the
one
first time we met him was
where
in Vegas.
for
Yeah,
yeah.
for
Well, okay,
Fish
so
in Vegas.
I mean it this time in San Francisco.
Okay.
We were Aaron, or Apple wasn't with us. It was Aaron and I and Cody and Bree, and we were at the new Chase Center that they just finished. And we had seen RJ like beforehand, before the concert. They were live podcasting. Osiris was, but it was in the middle of the show. Everybody's eyes are 3 times bigger than they normally are. And
Weird.
we were walking to, get a drink or go to the bathroom. And next thing you know, I just see RJ, and he didn't see me at first. And so it was kind of cool to kind of sneak up. And next thing you know, he turns around and sees us, and it was like, what? And I could just repeat that story, that seeing somebody like that a million times in different concerts, like seeing XYZ at, in Eugene, seeing so-and-so in friggin' Denver, like all of that stuff, like seeing the family out there, the No Simple Road family out there, and
Forget
getting
about it,
to
man.
like
It's dope.
cut a rug with them on, at the shows, or getting to like hug and cry with them, or like high five. That's it for me. That's the medicine of No Simple Road. That's the magic of No Simple Road. That's the meat of No Simple Road. And it's my favorite thing that we do, is meet and share the love of music with the family.
Agreed.
Wow, Mel.
100%.
Mel's 5 are my new favorites now after ours. Because you picked up on a few moments that like didn't cross like Terrapin. Like you said, it was so important to me and Aaron, and we just brushed, like we didn't, neither one of us picked that one. And to hear what that meant to you, and to hear now, and what you just said to the meeting people, that has gotten even more intense since the world has come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since we've been getting it out there, because now we hear it's like, thank you for being there for that like 2 years of weirdness. We were a constant for people.
Just think, if anybody out there,
that means so.
Yeah, if anybody out there can imagine receiving, like, now everything is through email, but just imagine if you go into your mailbox and you pull out these letters, and they're like, thank you for what you're doing. You helped me through a hard time. And there's 50, 60 letters that are coming a day. That's a big fucking deal. That's a lot of energy coming toward us.
Yeah.
And that's something I never counted on or thought about.
Yeah, it was never something that came into my head.
Yeah.
For sure.
So here we are getting all of these like beautiful reminders of what we're doing is great. And I just want to thank everybody out there.
You should. I wish you guys could
That is
see,
the
man.
cutest thing ever. She's trying to,
There's a bulldog here, everybody.
and bulldogs have little short legs. She's trying to get an itch that she just can't get, and it's the cutest, but also like I feel for
It
her.
really is cute.
Wow. Anyway, not to belittle Mel.
Yeah, always.
The dog took over.
Always. My one thing that I hate about No Simple Road is getting interrupted through serious, like sentimental moments.
It happens.
But then
Always.
it turns that just made me cry more because I was starting to
No.
get emotional, and then I laughed, and now it's back to emotional.
No,
It's like
it's true.
woo.
It's life. It's
It is.
life.
It's live
It's
now,
totally
too.
yeah.
Okay, we'll do it live. So
Thank you for listening to
yeah,
our moments.
hanging out with us today, man. You guys are the best. And so, look, this is the first one. It's rough. We know. Whatever.
it
We're
went pretty
figuring it out. No,
smooth.
yeah, absolutely. It went really smooth.
Like this.
Like butter.
And it was like a introduction.
But
type
we're gonna
Yeah.
be doing all kinds of stuff. We actually are. I'm not gonna bore you with the
No,
equipment.
yeah.
We're gonna have a way to bring you. We're gonna do a tour of the house with you guys. We're gonna
Cribs.
we're gonna cook some food together.
And please and give us suggestions. We've had one listener that gave us a whole lot of
Oh,
suggestions
wow.
right
Mel's
off
gonna
the
have
bat
a question
that
wheel.
we're like, holy shit, okay, those are all dope ideas. So
And definitely thank you to everybody, Jason. We are all grown up now. Thank you for acknowledging that, because you, out of anybody, should know how much you specifically, Jason, has impacted the show for the better.
Dude, Jason single-handedly changed the format of our show.
Yeah.
Think about
Yes.
that with a comment
And Audrey single-handedly made us more aware
of our mouths.
yeah. Well, like, when you're on the camera, you can't be picking your nose, your ear, your crotch. You can't
You
do that, right?
can.
Well, you can. It just won't be favorable. Well, when you're not
No.
on air, you're only audio. What's coming out of your mouth is much more important, and we don't realize that. So we're like slapping our gum or like sucking on a mint and like drinking a fucking icy beverages or slurping our cold hot coffee. Like,
okay, that was me.
come on. So that the Ables have really helped to step up our game in so many ways.
man.
And then Cody, thank you for acknowledging the room. Like, we've worked hard on it. Aaron has worked hard on it. Apple and I've worked hard on it. We just try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Try to figure it out.
Wow. I'm all emotional. I got all verklempt.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we all did. I think we all shed a tear
Hey,
too.
everybody, say thanks to Bryce.
Thank you,
for manning
Bryce.
the control panels
Thank you,
today.
Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce. Love you, buddy.
And little Leia
What's
for technical
Oregon
support.
Sunshine? What's
so
that one?
we're gonna be back soon. I'll let you know. Stay tuned to Instagram.
Yeah,
and,
we're going
and
to
Twitter.
Oteil.
What?
Orange Sunshine said Oteil's coming in the fall, and yes, we are
Yes, we
going.
will
We
be
have our
there.
tickets.
But shit, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Help me out, guys.
No one was listening.
Shit.
You were talking about, yes, we're going to be doing like what we're doing. It sounded like you were
okay,
going
so
somewhere.
you don't know either.
It sounded like you were going somewhere in the direction of like, yeah, we're going to be doing this.
more
Oh,
of this.
I got it. It's back. Next week we're gonna do an interview on here with Win-Win
Ooh,
live stream.
live stream.
So stay tuned to Instagram and Twitter. That's where I was for when that's gonna happen. I'll put that up. And yeah, if you have, like they said, if you have
We will see you
ideas
there.
on content for this new phase of our life, throw it our way, man. We're
Yeah.
open to suggestions.
We're new at it, so we're wanting
This
to
is
do
gonna start
different
getting-
shit and different
like
stuff.
I just realized here, like now starting to use the screen and realize what you're. I could do like this, like on the graphic. Listen to No Simple Road.
Oh.
Yeah, right there, right
See,
there.
see you
Oh.
there.
No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, big
everybody.
up. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much for being so engaged today and for sharing. You've
And
got some-
Oregon Sunshine.
Yeah, Oregon Sunshine. Everybody, so appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll be back next week with more stuff and things. Stay
Yeah.
hydrated. Smile at a stranger.
Love
Safety
yourself. Love one another.
third. And,
Yeah.
and keep your dog from wiping its butt on your carpet because
Although it is funny.
it is funny.
And listen to No Simple Road.
Yeah, do that.
Yes.
We love you guys. We'll see you later.